right, everybody, if you're looking for a good Christmas read, and yes, I know Christmas is coming up quickly, but still, Christmas in Bethel by Paul Richard Evans dropped on November 26th, so it is out and available for you. Normally, I don't do this, but I did listen to the audiobook, so I just want to read the synopsis of the book real quick before I get into the meat of it. Lee Beth Stilton has never liked the holidays after growing up in an unstable home, escaping an abusive marriage, and witnessing daily tragedies as an EMT. Lee just can't bring herself to care about Christmas cheer. In fact, she's so convinced she's not worth loving that one winter's eve she decides she can't go on until she comes across a book called Bethel and starts to read. Lee is unfamiliar with the author, J.D. Harper, but his works speak directly to her, his words. She's never felt so seen and understood, and this connection gives her the strength to carry on. She avidly reads every novel Harper has written, and when he comes to town for a book signing, she jumps at the opportunity to meet the writer she means so much to her. In a twist of fate, Lee runs into JD in a coffee shop, and the two immediately click. As always with these things, and I'm jumping off the boat here for a second, she doesn't realize who he is, so there's that. Before she knows it, she's swept up in a whirlwind of fancy dinners, exciting travel, and the attention of the man whose work has been so meaningful to her. But she's leery after a lifetime of pain, and when she discovers that JD hasn't been completely honest, her hopes are dashed. Can they find their way back to each other, and can Lee learn to trust her heart? All right, so why am I doing a review of this book? Because yes, it does sound like every other Hallmark Christmas movie out there. But let's face it, there's a good chunk of Hallmark Christmas movies that are based on Richard Paul Evans' books, so that's not a surprise. If you're my average, let me put it this way, my average viewer, we're heavy in, we're in fantasy, sci-fi, horror, mystery, that type of stuff. Probably this is not the book we'd go out of our way to pick up. Even listening to the synopsis, if there's a good author behind it, it's probably a 3, maybe a 4 if it's really good for us. So why am I putting this out here? Because I don't do video reviews for, lower rated books anymore. Because it's his writing and it's the ending. His writing by itself bumped this up to a 4 for me on its own. The last couple of chapters, however, not too many books get me choked up. Quit staring at me, Charlotte's Web. Anyhow, but you know what I mean. The ending of this book, the last couple of chapters, the story that you find out about the author in the book, not Richard. It got me choked up a little bit. It was close. I almost had to grab a tissue. So any book that can end that strongly, it did bump it up to a 5-star for me. If you're not a fan of Christmas, make sure that you understand that this is Christmas adjacent. Christmas is the background. It's not about Christmas. It's not about something that happens on Christmas. It just happens in winter. And so Christmas is there. Christmas is not the theme, even though it says Christmas in Bethel on the cover. So if that's a non-starter for you, don't worry about it. You're not going to be Christmas to death. There's no holiday miracles. There's no angels, etc. and so forth. I have to give this one credit. Story really got to me, especially towards the end. Even when I could tell parts of it were coming, Richard's writing still sucks you in. And I was listening to the audiobook too, which probably didn't help because I kind of get all focused on that, and there's no distractions going on. I got my earbuds in. So I feel like if you are a Christmas fan or if you are a romance fan, you're going to want to be picking this book up anyhow. If you're a fan of romance but you're not into the spicy, this one's definitely for you. Richard's books are pretty clean. This is the type of book I can actually tell my mother to read and know that she's not going to scream at me later. So, it's got that seal of approval behind it. But, if you don't like those because you think they're too goody two-shoes, this is still, there's some dark parts of this novel. Yeah, it kind of takes you on an emotional roller coaster ride. So, again, not a book I would normally pick up. I just wanted to happen I wanted to do a Christmas read, so I managed to grab this. And then, if you've seen the interview, you already know this. It was kind of weird timing. I was 2 days into listening to this book when I heard from Richard's agent asking if I wanted to have an interview with him. Obviously, that's already happened. I just didn't want to put out the book review. I know it's getting kind of close to Christmas. But I didn't want to put the book review out before we had the interview, just because I didn't want one or the other to. I didn't want it to color the interview at all. This is the review kind of that I've already had out on Goodreads. The fact that, this book is 90% Christmas Hallmark movie and 10%, gut punch. And so that ending is really what put it over the top for me. Check out the book. I can't think of it. You've got to really hate romance. I mean, hate romance, like you don't like people. And there's a few of you out there. I'm not judging. I'm just saying to not at least like this book. I'm not sure everybody's going to love this book. But as I tell every author, if you write a book nobody hates, then you're going to write a book nobody loves. So there's going to be a few people out there. I get it. I would say it's worth picking up, and I would definitely say it's worth watching the interview. So whichever corner the interview thing pops up in, go check it out. All right. I hope everybody has happy holidays, and I hope you find some 5-star reads.